Robert Stevenson is one of the most widely recognized professional speakers in the world. Companies like American Express, FedEx, AT&T, Harley-Davidson, Kellogg, and Time Warner continue to rely on Mr. Stevenson for his fresh, unique perspective on business's most crucial issues.
Have a bad day, and I hope you have a great year. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you.
Robert knows how to excite, move, and captivate his audience.
What we were talking about, I had the new one stand up. Why? We want to talk about how we're learning from people. There's a lot of people in this room that stood up for a whole long time. There's things that we've learned how to do right, and there's things that we've learned how to do wrong. How many people in this room have made a mistake? Show of hands. Thank you. How many made it twice? Thank you. Notice I didn't take my hand down. See, it never ceases to amaze me when I do strategic planning sessions for major corporations. I don't do generic ones. I call them up and I say, you know, let me see your FUBAR list. Or what? Your fouled up beyond all repair list. It's amazing how many companies don't have one. And so if I was starting a company and I was hiring people, I mean, let's see, your name, sir, is? Sir? Doug. We hired Doug. So what do? I go get the FUBAR list. I walk up to Doug and say, Doug, I'd like you to read this list. We've already made these mistakes. We don't need you to make them bubble. We'd like you to go make some new ones. It's amazing how many people don't have that list. For you new ones out there, go to the people that have been there doing this and start asking those questions. If we're going to be the #1 district in the United States, we've got to share that information. Let's don't make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Example, I'm out of the country doing a program for people that manage large skyscrapers, big old tall buildings. We're down in Cancun. I got about 250 executives. And I said, somebody give me a FUBAR. Guy raises his hand. He said, I got this 100-story building in downtown New York. I said, all right. He said, we bought these new containers and we mismarked them. He said, one night we filled the soap dispensers in every restroom with white latex paint. I said, you got to be kidding me. He said, no. I mean, in defense of the person that made the mistake, white soap, white paint, it looked about the same. But get a visual the next morning. People are down in the restroom in a 100-story building going, this is some serious soap. I mean, can you get it off? I can't get it off my hands, you know? He said, my phone rang off the hook. I said, is anybody get anything worse than that? Guy instantly raised his hand. He says, that's nothing. 250 executives went, that's nothing? He said, my people clean the toilet seat tops with phosphoric acid. He says, you don't want to go there. We put rashes in very bad places. I mean, you start thinking about sharing the information and getting an understanding of what we're talking about here today. FUBARs, ladies and gentlemen. First time hurts, but it's a learning experience. I've had some great mentors in my time. One of them worked for me, and we made a major mistake. We're getting ready to lose a customer. And Gail says, Rob, I'm going to go visit this customer. And I said, we are? She says, yeah, do you want to come? I said, yeah, I own the company. Let's go. So what do? I need a chair. Hang on one second. You got to see this. Excuse me. If I kill myself, I'll sue. We go to drive to the customer. Gail does what? She says, Rob, pull into that hardware store. I said, why? She said, just bear with me. We go in. She says, sir, do you sell hemp ropes? Yeah. She said, I need 10 feet. I said, Gail, what are we doing here? She said, just go with me here, boss. We get 10 feet of hemp rope. She said, sir, do you know how to make a hangman's noose? Yeah. The guy makes a hangman's noose. I said, Gail, what are you doing? She says, don't worry about that. We drive to the client. We walk into the front. The receptionist said, I can't believe you showed up. You don't need any just go on back. They'll kill you when you get there. We walk into the president's office. Gail doesn't say a word. She grabs a chair. She puts it in the middle of the floor. She stands in the chair. She takes the rope. She throws it overhead. She pulls it up and she says, kick the chair. He said, what? She says, kick the chair. I deserve to die. I'm standing in the back of the office going, far out. Not only does he think we won't do business with us, now he thinks we're stupid, okay? And Gail's sitting there and the magic starts to happen. She says, kick the chair. And the guy says, no, Gail, it wasn't that bad. She says, oh, yes, it was. Kick the chair. He said, no, Gail, it wasn't that bad. And then she said the words. She said, well, then what should we do? And he started explaining it. When we walked in there, folks, we didn't have a customer. When we walked out, not only did we have a customer, we had a customer that explained what? That explained what we needed to do to get better. Sometimes, folks, when we make a mistake, the best thing that you could ever do is say what? I blew it. I blew it. But guess what? Let me tell you how fast we're going to fix it. And all of a sudden the client says, gosh, Yellow blew it. But boy, did they fix it fast. Your customer understands mistakes. And guess what, folks? They make them, so do we. But it's how we fix them that counts. We now have an opportunity to do what? Take it to the next level. And that's what I'm trying to identify to you. Take it to the next level. Admit the mistake and then fix it. Listen to what they've got to say and then do it.
Robert spends a great deal of time researching his clients' needs to ensure he will produce the results they are looking for.
I've had people walk up to me after a program and go, gosh, Rob, what you said was profound. I'd love to take credit for it, but see, I learned it from that person and that person and that person. See, before a program, I pick up the phone and I call lots of folks in that industry. And what do? I ask them questions and shut up. I learned a long time ago I can't learn while my voice is engaged. Listen to what they've got to say. Listen to I got a phone call a few years back, and my agent said, we want you to go talk to the National Security Agency. I said, NSA? You know, people that are saving our lives and finding all the bad people, and you want me to go talk to them about what? I said, I'm a business person. And then all of a sudden I took a look at what they do and how they do as far as business in comparison to other things. When you start looking at the list of what's going on from goals, objectives, and communication, and leadership, and innovation, and ideas, and technology, all things that you guys are involved in. But now let's go to the bottom three. The bottom three as far as customer service, beating the competition, and profitability. When I was talking about NSA, they don't have any of that. And I said, oh, really? Started getting an understanding of what it's all about as far as they were concerned. Is customer service was the American public and each other, protecting us. People that are really, really trying to kill us. I mean, when you start thinking about an enemy that thinks that once they die for themselves, they go to another level, this is all bad. So the other aspect of it is how they're going to protect us. And then all of a sudden you start talking about beating the competition, keeping Americans safe. And then more importantly, we started looking at the aspects of profitability. How do they uncover, discover, find, and figure out? But then I always want to know my audience. I never do generic programs. So I tried to get an understanding of who in the world I was going to be talking to. And it was satellite all over the world at all their locations. And I'm sitting there talking to people, 5 different generations. People who have to know 6,912 living languages, not counting the dead ones. And then all of a sudden, who's in the room? Language specialists and military analysts and transcribers and engineers and computer science and on and on and on. I've got to communicate with those people. Well, those are some of the things they did, and it made the job a little daunting. But then I tried to really understand what's going on is never forget why. See, when you look at their situation, in business as well as everything else, in personal life, we lose sight of our target, our goal, our objective, our mission, our vision, our dream. Why you're here, why you're doing it. And they can't. Because, by the way, just as soon as they find a terrorist and they do a great job, you know what someone that says? Go get me another one. See, it never stops.
One of my clients, Cincinnati Insurance, $3.5 billion in revenues. Extremely profitable company. And what do? When you start looking at it, folks, as far as how good they are, they got 2,900 associates, 1,000 associates in the field, marketing in 32 states. And what's more amazing? They don't advertise. They don't advertise. When I was getting ready for the program, I'm like going, wait a second, guys. You're a $3.5 billion company and you do not advertise? How does this work? They said, well, Rob, we found out a long time ago the person that makes the first sale is our agent. The person that makes the second sale is who? Our field claims reps. How many of y'all saw Katrina? There you go. Remember the guy that was out in Biloxi standing on his slab? Standing on his slab, that's all he had. Let's do a role play. A role play with another insurance company, because see, that's what they deal with. Another insurance company comes up there and the guy's standing on his slab. He says, sir, you got your insurance policy? What? It's a slab. What do you mean I don't have anything. All I got is a slab. You ain't got your insurance policy. We ain't going to pay you anything. Cincinnati Insurance shows up. By the way, they drive 18-wheelers down there. They set up satellite dishes. They got coffee. They got water. They got blankets. They got everything. And everybody who's there is a volunteer. As soon as they start hearing about the hurricanes, they're picking up the phone and they're calling and saying, and they only allow them to be there for 3 days.